Hello, and this is a Bullis Student Tutors video on how to use Quizlet. Quizlet is an online flashcard tool which I'm sure many of you are familiar with. Note, this video is not going to be about how to make a good set, but rather about how to use the features in Quizlet to help you out. There's a lot of different ways that you can use Quizlet, but they all start from the main interface. So to access this page, go to www.quizlet.com and make an account in the top right corner if you don't have one already. To get to a study set, you can do one of two things. You can either make your own or you can use someone else's. To make your own, click on Create, and to use someone else's, click on Search. But be careful when you're using ones made by other people because they might not be adapted to the exact content you covered in your class. And then finally, once you're on a set, you can add it to a personal folder or class or create a class or folder in the bottom left corner highlighted in the red boxes. That helps you stay organized, which is pretty important to get to a study set you want relatively quickly. Okay, next I'm going to be talking about how to use Quizlet once you get into a study set, and it's going to give you an interface that looks something like this. So first, on the light blue option is if you're on someone else's set or you're on your own and you want to make a copy of it. Like you might make a copy of a Google document and edit it yourself. So this is helpful when you have someone else's set that you want to use and make some changes to it. The purple box is for sharing sets, so if you make a really cool set or you see someone else's and you want to share it with one of your friends, for example, you can click on that, type in their email address, and it will give them an email sending them a link to the set. Red is for adding the set to a folder or class, like we said on the first page, and that's useful for staying organized. Green is for information about the set, for example, who created it, who's using it to study, and when they created it, for example. And finally, blue is not used as often. It has a bunch of other features in it, but if you do want to print it out, you can click on the three dots and you can do it there. When it comes to actually using Quizlet to study, there's a lot of different options. I'm going to talk about Learn and Write, because those are my two personal favorites. Learn is really good if you're just getting started with a topic, because it gives you a lot of different ways you can answer. It gives you flashcards, gives you answering the term with the definition, answering the definition with the term. It gives you multiple choice. It's just really good to get immersed in the topic area you might not know too well yet. Whereas Write is more for learning about what you already know, and then you just respond to the term with a definition or vice versa. It doesn't give you any other types of questions. You can also star terms that you don't know as well yet and only focus on those. Again, it's good to experiment because everyone has their own personal preference, and that way you can figure out what works best for you. And finally, we're going to talk about what you can use Quizlet for. It has an application in pretty much every class, but there are certain things it does not do too well with. Quizlet is great if you're learning vocabulary or new terms, if you're trying to memorize formulas, or if you're trying to remember some pretty minute plot events. But it's not great for big concepts or lengthy explanations since you can't really cover that in a flashcard. And finally, don't rely on Quizlet as the only means of studying for a test. You wouldn't study for a normal test with just flashcards, so definitely still use class notes. But if you use Quizlet as a supporting tool, then you're going to be headed in the right direction. Thank you for watching, and I hope that was helpful.